Good morning, welcome to this morning's Outlook. Let's have a look at the news events first, of course, as ever. Let's just go to the calendar and click on today. Would be good if it stays still for me so I can click on today. There we go. So today what we got then? We've got ECB President Lagarde speaking at 10 a.m. this morning. Who she speak to, participate in discussion, international. Oh, okay. I don't expect that to move so much this morning because it's not a direct discussion about the economic situation. ADP non-farm payrolls, we can get a blip at this at 1:15, and then we got the Bank of Canada rate statement then at 3 p.m. We got the Fed chair testifying again. Probably at the right time today at 3 o'clock. We had 2 o'clock yesterday, but anyway, it got set at 3 in the end. He's testifying in front of the House Financial Services Committee. He probably said it all yesterday, but you never know, someone might not have been listening. It might be more of the same, but so he is testifying. He will be probably ask the same questions, and we'll probably see a similar thing, but without the bigger price movement. That's pretty much it. Yeah, US bond auction there at 6 o'clock. It's not going to affect us too much during the normal trading day. So that's it. So let's get cracking, look at the markets, and we'll start off with the euro dollar as ever. Now the euro yesterday, it's a bit of a disappointment in a sense, because I was hoping it was going to come through and break through, but it didn't. It's come back. It's tested the prior low there, and catching a bit of a bounce at the moment. In fact, it did not only test it, it broke it, just noticing there. So it's done a double top into a double bottom effectively. We'll see what comes of today, but the daily pivot's up there. It could be a bit of a draw for it. We'll see. But it's in a risky old place here. We'll see post 8 o'clock. It might just flag and roll back over again, but seeming to catch the bid at the moment. Not the easiest to trade after they've had these big moves, particularly where they've found some support, and the pound's no real difference here. Yesterday it came back there on the dailies just fractionally below the previous lows. That has confirmed a fractional lower high there. We've already got a load of lower highs coming through near term anyway, which are more important. So it's continued in that vein. On a weekly basis it's into its S2, which might see it finished for a bit. It may get a bounce off of it a bit more. Again, we'll just watch it post 8 o'clock. For me, it's the weaker one of the European currencies. So if I was going to trade one of them, it might be the euro for the pivot, not the pound. But it's too mixed in terms of what's happening here. This is really in a downtrend. I'd rather sell from the pivot than buy to the pivot, if that makes sense. Dollar yen. Again, the yen's continued pushing up south. It looked like it was in a reasonable place, but it's just continued to soften up here. A bit of a retrace at the moment. Again, same situation as what we're seeing with the euro and pound, etc. We've hit the R1 here. Has less probability of hitting the daily pivot, and it is a long way away as well, but it has less probability once it's hit the R1. So morning flow, we'll see how it goes. Morning in Leon again. Okay. Right, so again, got to sit there and wait there. Aussie dollar, we did catch a short on this yesterday, and I still got a bit running, and I was to and fro whether to get rid of it. We had this sort of main support area across here, but the S1 was the real target. But seeing it move down so quickly, so strongly, and in the current sort of price action, the last part of that might roll some more. Very classic breakdown yesterday from the consolidation that we'd seen last week, and this week it's just gone a lot quicker than I thought. I thought there'd be a swing for a couple of days or so, but it pretty much went down all the way yesterday. Now there was some soft data and even more soft data later in the evening, which is not really reflected that much through, but I think it got a hiding beforehand. As I say, catching a bit of a bounce now. This hasn't actually hit the S1, so it's got a bit more chance of catching back to its pivot, but I would be looking at potentially selling into the pivot. Okay, US dollar CAD, same old inverted. But I just didn't really want to be trading this. It's gone. Maybe now it's broken out those prior highs there. It's got the opportunity to get a bit of a leg on, but it's been struggling around those areas, and that area I should say, and consolidated for last week, 5 to 7 days there. Broken out now, just over a week actually. Again, there's probably some divergence in here. It probably is, well, depending on where you draw your trend line, there might be some short-term trends likely to be broken. But for now, we'll see. It hasn't hit the R1, so the daily pivot's still got a reasonable chance of being hit. Yeah. Okay, other pairings. Euro yen's in the right mess of things here at the moment. It's looking like it's going to go one way then the other, and we're sitting in this wedge pattern, and it's continuing. It did pretty much stay in it yesterday. It didn't even pull out, so stuck in the wedge, and as long as it's in there, it's a bit of an iffy trade. If the euro can get a leg up today, maybe it'll push up, but it's not looking the best in real terms. Don't like these choppy markets. Other pairs, Euro CAD, someone asked me about yesterday. That did break down. It wasn't showing the signs to break down initially, but eventually broke down. Looking at these higher time frames, it had the divergence across the highs there, but it hadn't at that time broken the trend. When it did, that made it a little bit different. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry, children just leaving early today. Right, so divergences there, breaking down here. So yeah, it did break down the end. Maybe a sell back into its daily pivot there, but we'll see what the euro does this morning. Okay, so yeah, it's sticky out there still. The Aussie came to us quite nicely. The pound yen might slip off here. It's being a bit more bearish looking. So we'll look at that this morning. See what happens at the close. We'll see what happens into 8 o'clock, but that certainly looks a possibility there to see, even if it just slides back to its prior lows there, but it just looks that bit soft. As I said, the pound just looking a bit softer across the markets. Okay, that's the currencies. Quick look at gold and the indices for you. So gold, what are you doing, gold? Just as you're looking sort of half decent, but it didn't even get into its pivot. So it was, as I said, if it broke that area, it becomes much more bullish. Well, it's bear flag, unfortunately, has taken the lead down the dailies, and again looking quite soft across here. Now at the moment, all of these they look like they've got potential to run into pivots and roll over, but whether they'll even get as high as the pivot is the question. So trading it, although it's a 75% chance of it coming back towards this area, 75+% chance of coming back to this area, back to the pivot, it might just never make it. It might be one of those 25% days. Looking at crude oil, and just look at this bigger time frame, really bearish engulfing. So it had been working its way up there. The strong dollar though has really just brought it back down to earth quite quickly. If the dollar softens this morning, it might bounce back up there. We'll see how it shapes up there. But for now, looking at a tad on the bearish side after all that. Right, indices quickly then. Just looking at CSI 300. Well, it's continued to be a bit relatively soft. Big gap down there, and then just plopped up a bit. But look at with the lower highs, lower lows. It's broken its trend. It's the structure of this is more to the downside than the upside. Nifty 50 is the other way around. It's sorry, the Nikkei is the other way around. It's still doing pretty well here. It's just a bit short of its prior high tail there, wick even. But still looking relatively bullish at this moment. If it starts turning, then all these nice gaps might get filled. Nifty 50. This to me still looks like it's in the sort of the structure of this lower highs, lower lows all the way through here. Yep, we've caught this bounce here, but it's not really holding on too well. That could roll back over. Of course, the US equities didn't like the banter yesterday, or they say the discussion by Powell, and we've seen quite a strong sell-off there, and it's changed the shape. It was trying to do something a little bit more positive, but to the upside here, but it's completely changed and it looks quite bearish at the moment, and we might just see this run through, continue through the markets today. Dow looking exactly the same, ish, pretty much the same sort of price action. Pivot swings there, looking bearish at the moment, as does the Nasdaq, and the structure again, lower highs, lower lows, really through that. This hasn't changed anything in the near term, so again looking soft. The DAX did get up into those new highs yesterday and then sold off, and again it's a difficult one. I feel sorry if all you're trading as DAX at the moment. You may be making some money if you just range trading it, but it's an ugly looking thing, as is the FTSE. And again, this the longer it holds down here, the more likely I think it might just pull back a bit more even. We'll see, but that's it for today. I wish you a great day's trading. I'm just checking. Yeah, that's it. Have a great one. Catch you in the morning. Bye for now. Morning, Ritu, Miko.